All right. Y'all already know how this is. Nope. My audio isn't coming through. What did I break? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? We are live. Whew, thank
We're
you so
live.
much, Skip. Right. Small victories, small victories. For whatever reason, Graham, you say something again.
We are live.
Whew. It's going to be a good day at the Symphony. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Symphony Entertainment. What the hell is Symphony Entertainment? Well, Symphony Entertainment Gaming and Arts is my gaming company that focuses on horror systems, indie games, organic content, and player agency in an attempt to bring a symphonic approach to horror role-playing. I am your host, Bridgett Jeffries, but tonight I am only a player because we have the absolutely delectable Graham Walmsley back running his first Symphony Sonata over here on the Symphony. I'm absolutely delighted because do you guys see who he brought with him? Y'all see him, right? Y'all see Scott? I know. Go ahead and get your thirst on because I'm quite ready for it as well. We only have one quick, it's going to get, brace yourself, homie. We only have one quick announcement. Symphony Entertainment has a Patreon. So if you like this content and you would like to help us make more of it, please consider backing us on Patreon at patreon.com/Symphony Entertainment. This gets you access to postcards, book drops, exclusive content, and then something we call the Post-Symphony Gala, where after our mainstream content, you can hang out with the cast and crew and talk about, well, actually kind of hear about the scenario, our impressions of it, what worked, what didn't work. And those are actually really cool. I get a lot of value out of those. So again, if you're interested in backing us, back us at patreon.com/Symphony Entertainment. Now, without further ado, let us unveil the deliciousness that is this cast right now. Cast members, please introduce yourselves. Tell us who you are, what you do, where people can find you. And for today, what do I want to know about our cast members today? We've had favorite type of tacos. We've had favorite animals. We've had favorite colors. Oh, I want to hear what your favorite season. Oh, no, scratch that. What your favorite holiday is, because we just finished up with Halloween and why. Scott, hit us, baby. Who are you? What do you do? Where can people find you? All of that pluggable shit, and then your favorite holiday and why.
You've just completely derailed my brain as I'm now thinking about holidays. But yes, hello everyone, I'm Scott Dorward. I write the occasional bit of stuff for role-playing games, particularly Call of Cthulhu, but other stuff. And I do a lot of podcasting. Mm-hmm. My main podcast is The Good Friends of Jackson Elias, which I co-host with Paul Fricker and Matt Sanderson, where we talk about Call of Cthulhu, weird fiction, horror films, and other spooky things. And then I'm a cast member on, I'm a cast member on Ain't Slayed Nobody, on How We Roll, and on Grizzly Peaks Radio. So, yes, check those out if you like actual plays. And my favorite holiday, oh God, I'm a miserable bugger. I don't really go for any holidays in particular. I mean, I guess I'll choose May Day just out of workers' solidarity.
Here we go. I like it. I like this.
Good one.
This is really good. You know what? That means we need to come up with a Scott Dorward Day. I'm sure.
Terrifying.
I'm sure we can find a Scott Dorward Day.
Oh, God. Well, I think it's got to be the winter solstice, just so it's the darkest day of the year.
Yeah.
Scott, can I just ask, you were mentioning you wrote for Cthulhu Systems. I mean, and you just mentioned Call of Cthulhu. Any other particular ones, or
I suppose I have written for Cthulhu Dark. Yeah, yes. There is a scenario I wrote a while back called Fairyland, which has been fairly well received, and yeah, you can also hear an actual play of that on Ain't Slayed Nobody if you want to try before you buy.
Nice.
As someone who both owns that scenario, has played it and died in it multiple times, and has listened to Ain't Slayed Nobody, honey, it is delicious. Graham, you've been here enough. You already know what to do. You should start hosting over here. Tell us, baby, who you are, what do you do, where can people find you, and then your favorite holiday.
Hi, I'm Graham. I absolutely should not start hosting. I do have to say I'm kind of jealous of Fairyland because, you know, I wrote all these bleak scenarios and then Scott came along and wrote a scenario which was like what I wanted but even better. And I was like, oh, fuck. Anyway, no, it's amazing. It's one of my favourites. Also, Bridgett wrote Miskatonic Shoreside Conservatory. I'm just playing with two people who are better at writing scenarios than me. I'm best known for writing Cthulhu Dark, which is a Cthulhu system. My new thing is Cosmic Dark, Bridgett tells you to hold books up when you talk about things.
Yes.
So there you go. Weird space horror. I love this game, and it's firing my brain so much. I've got a Patreon, so you should give me money. Patreon.com/Graham. Favorite holiday. You did this question before, Bridgett, and it's Christmas. Because I am genuinely, I'm genuinely just quite happy, and I just like Christmas and fairy lights.
Oh, you know what? You know what I should start doing is writing down these questions ahead of time versus doing them on the fly. But that would require me having my shit together, and I don't. So here we go. Amazing. Scott, welcome to the Symphony for the first time. Graham, welcome back. Content warnings have been discussed with the cast and crew. We have reviewed red lines. The X card is in play. X's can be sent via private message or physically, visibly on Zoom, and table will manage it. Also, we are going to be using the red, yellow, green traffic light method. If at any point a safety tool is called, we will rectify it. Safe environments make for better horror storytelling. Safe environments really just make for better play across all categories of play. So, thank you guys for joining in. As an FYI, the Symphony Sonatas are improvised horror. Graham may or may not be, but very likely be taking recommendations or ideas from the chat. Because of that, I cannot upfront anticipate all of the triggers that may come up. I can do it in the YouTube video, but for those of us who are joining live, the best that we have right now is violence and harm to children. If that is not your lane, that's completely okay. Drop the content. If something comes up that you're uncomfortable with, drop the content. Hitting X is something that you have a right to do, even if it's just on your Twitch screen. Drop it. Come join us for something else. It is completely okay. But I am repeating again, we're anticipating violence and harm to children, but depending on what the chat comes up with, depending on what Scott and Graham and I come up with, we have no idea what's going to happen. So that's the best warning and consideration that I can give you on the front end. So with that being said, guys, let's play. Graham, I'm out of your way and it's on to you.
That's amazing. So I really wanted to do a Sonata around now, because this weekend it is firework night in the UK. So which means we have bonfires and we go and watch fireworks. By the way, if chat right now could start making firework noises, it would just make me really happy. I would just love that. So yeah, we're going to do a firework based scenario. Oh, I could just watch this all day.
Oh, look. Oh, chat is responding.
We're not going to do a scenario. We're just going to sit here watching chat while people go, ee, fizzle, boom. Oh, I'm so happy. Okay, fantastic. That's enough of that, because I'm going to ask you for suggestions as well. So I wanted to do a fire-themed scenario. I don't have anything in mind for this. And chat, let's start off. Just give me a place where you would find a fire.
Oh. A place where you can find a fire.
Yep. Bridgett's house, cabin's hearth. I love that.
Ooh.
I don't think we can do a whole scenario at Bridget's house. I did wonder if we could get that meta. Give me some more. Campsite is actually really lovely. I don't really get the yield tank thing. Back of a chip shop. Let's go with the back of the chip shop. I love it. So it's we are in a small English village. We're in the middle of the countryside, and so I just want you to imagine it sort of surrounded by dark moorland all around, and it is firework night. So overnight, overhead, we can just see the first. We can just see the first fireworks bursting in the air, and two people in this tiny town come out of a chip shop. And I think the best thing to start with your characters is I just want to know what you have ordered from the chip shop. So Scott, can I just give you a moment to think? And I'm just going to wait for Bridgett to think what you might actually order in a chip shop, because she doesn't know. If anyone in the chat wants to suggest things you can order from a chip shop, just give her a menu and she can pick from that.
Is it fish and chips? What is that? French fries? What's happening?
Scott, what is your character? And we'll find out more about this character in a moment. What have they ordered from the chip shop?
I think it's got to be. I mean, is this Well, I guess part of it depends on where in England it is. So, are we in the south or the north?
I think we're in the north.
If we're in the north, then I'm definitely going for a white pudding supper, or at least white pudding and chips. Sorry, I'm getting a bit Scottish there.
No, that's amazing. So white pudding, is it like a pudding made mostly from the meal and fat, isn't it? It's a bit spiced.
Yeah. So it's basically oats that made with lard and salt and pepper, then put in a sausage skin, battered and deep fried. It is death on the arteries, but by God, is it tasty.
That's amazing. And so as you come out of the chip shop, you're wrapped up against the cold, Scott. Tell me a few things that you're tell me what your character is wearing to protect yourself against the cold.
I guess it's a fairly old-fashioned parka. So, padded jacket, and he's got gloves on, but he's taken them off so that he doesn't get chip fat all over them, and is hunched over a little bit as the wind is picking up.
That's amazing, and I love the fact that you're saying Parker. Let's actually be back in the 1970s, 1980s, and I hope Bridgett gets the English references. So, Bridgett, what is your character? What did your character order from the chip shop that you're now taking out of the chip shop?
So I am going to, versus being intimidated or afraid of my ignorance, I'm going to double down and lean into it. So my character walking into this chip shop, which Bridgett doesn't know what that means, nor does my character, is going to ask whomever is serving what is the most popular thing here.
That's amazing, and the woman behind the counter. So as Scott's character in his parka is already eating his white pudding meal, sort of stands there and goes, "It's the fish, the special fish."
I would like an order of the special fish, please. If that's what you say.
Looks almost surprised.
I think my character just shakes his head upon hearing this.
And she gets out. She just has some sort of fish standing there. It's slightly warm, and she puts that. And as well as that, you'll get a load of thick, slightly greasy chips. And she goes, "Sauce."
What would you recommend to go with the special fish and chips?
She just squirts something over it, and she goes, "So you two will be going to see the fireworks tonight?"
Yes, that is the intention. Mm-hmm.
It's a dangerous night out there. Boy died last year.
And I will take my fish and chips and this mystery sauce that's been given to me, and my head tilts slightly. It's very unfortunate that a child died, you say, a year ago, from the fireworks. I'm assuming a firework-related incident.
Some said it was the fireworks. Some said it was something to do with the moon.
Grief is a terrible thing. My sympathies towards his family. Thank you for your time and for the recommendation.
She looks a little confused about that. So Bridgett, chip shops are a very kind of greasy hole in the wall place, and so you're being very polite to this lady. Mm-hmm. She goes, "You new here?"
Yes. Is that obvious?
In this town?
I am. Yes. I'm just passing through. Yes.
And this is your friend, brother, boyfriend?
I look
keeper, guardian,
over to this individual.
Prison guard.
What is the answer to that prison guard? What is the answer to that question, Scott?
I will take your lead on this.
Oh, you're throwing it back to me? Oh, my escort? He's showing me around?
Yeah, we're seeing all the sights tonight.
Yeah. That makes sense. Would have thought you're the parole officer. She laughs to herself, but nobody starts laughing. Anyway, I've got a cue. And you two will emerge into into the this village high street. The moon is so. I want you to imagine this village high street. It should be dark, but instead the moon is lighting everything in a silvery light. And I will just let you two walk along along the street. There's a little bit of drizzle coming down to the firework field, which is at the end. And you guys can just talk for a moment.
At least you're here for Guy Fawkes Night. There wouldn't be anything else to do the rest of the year.
No, I appreciate this. This is good timing. I expect this will be a spectacle. The woman at the bar said a child died here a year ago.
Yeah, the locals don't like to talk about that. It was a weird one.
She said it possibly had something to do with the moon. I thought that was very curious.
Well, people say all sorts of things, don't they? They say all sorts of things. I mean, I mean, it might have been him messing around with the Roman candle. Might have been him getting too close to the bonfire. I mean, I don't know how the moon is supposed to set a boy on fire, but
and I think at that moment something breaks across you, and there is almost like a shriek or a howl from the darkness a long way away, but enough that it sounds like a scream of some sort.
Or it's just local kids messing about. They always going to be in high spirits tonight. The big bonfire, all the fireworks going off. Some of them setting off their own rockets in their back gardens. It's a big night.
I didn't even notice it, but when that happened, I did that cautious step around your side and like right to your behind, and I've completely lost control of the basket of fish and chips that was in my hand, and it's just completely spread all over the floor. I was just that startled and that alarmed by that sudden noise.
I looked down at the chips scattered across the ground. It's all right. You can share mine. I'm not that hungry.
Thank you. I'm
and
sorry.
You guys, and you guys continue walking down. It's a typical firework night, which I'm just going to explain to chat. I mean, half of you know it because I can see some very good British references in there already. But you walk into the field, people are like huddled around. Lots of them will have fish and chips or like a bag of crisps or something like that. And the fireworks are just starting, and they're kind of underwhelming. There's a little fizzling, and then it will go poof, and there is a bonfire as well, a surprisingly large bonfire, and and there is a guy on the bonfire. So Bridgett, we burn effigies every year at this time, and so there is an effigy burning on the bonfire.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. I guess you weren't here in time. Yeah, some of the local kids were taking it around in a wheelbarrow earlier all day.
I'm sorry. What is the point of this?
Oh, it's we burn Guy Fawkes in effigy every year. He was a conspirator at a Catholic revolution to Parliament and tried to. Yeah, he and his cohort put lots of barrels of gunpowder underneath the House's Parliament and were going to blow it all up while it was in session. But they got caught before it could happen, and we kind of celebrate that by burning them in effigy every year. It's, normal things.
Except Bridgett, well, not Bridgett. Do we have a name for your character yet?
We have not named our characters right now. I will tee up to Scott and chat. Give me a character name that I'll rock with, because obviously she is not from this area. So go ahead and tee me up a character name and I'll rock with it.
So this is great, and we'll pick one in a moment. But as your character gets closer to the bonfire, the effigy looks nothing like Guy Fawkes. It reminds you of someone else, and who is that?
Oh shit, are you asking me, or are you asking, it looks like my character's name is Esmeralda. Are you asking me that, or are you asking Scott that?
I'm asking you that. It's someone you recognize.
Oh, there's so many fun options here. I am gonna go with. I take a step forward as my eyes narrow and I'm looking at this effigy because that can't be what I'm looking at, but it looks like what I'm looking at. Um, it looks like my younger sister. It looks like my younger
Yeah.
sister, Bonita.
Yeah. Your younger sister, Benita,
That was the nickname
uh,
we gave to her, was Bonita.
before she disappeared. Yeah. So, uh, and so, Scott, Esmeralda seems distracted.
You're right there, love.
Who did she say this effigy was to? It was Guy. It was Guy, correct?
Yeah, Guy Fawkes.
Why does it look like a 7-year-old girl?
It's not very big.
No, no, that looks like, and I am going to start moving very quickly, cutting around people through the rain, through the people, push, because I need to get a closer look.
Yeah. Yeah. And all right. So the more you look, it looks like, I mean, it's not Esmeralda. It looks actually no. Let's do it the other way. No, and that is Esmeralda in human form on the fire, looking at you imploringly, but she seems unable to move.
Can I get a physical description of, again, this bonfire and how it's suspended? Is this suspended on like a pedestal or on rope? Like, give me an idea of how this thing is burning.
I think I'm not sure how she's on suspended, but it will be just on the top of the bonfire at the moment, and she looks at you imploringly.
Tears are
Is the
starting
bonfire
to.
lit yet, or
Yeah,
still waiting
it's
for it to
not
be
in
lit?
full flame, but it's starting to burn around the bottom. Yeah.
Tears are starting to run down both of my cheeks, but I think on this kind of moment I'm more paralyzed, more in shock because I can't be
Mm.
seeing what I'm seeing, right? Maybe there was
No.
something in the chips. Maybe it was something in the sauce. Maybe it's stress.
And then Bridget, I
Well,
think
it's
the moment is gone, and so there is a kind of cloud of smoke wafts up, and suddenly no, it's an effigy, but for a moment you could have sworn.
you're right there. You get some smoke in your eyes.
May we leave?
Oh no, I mean they barely started the fireworks.
May we leave, please?
I mean, there's fuck all else to do around here.
Although you can get a good view of the fireworks from the moors.
I mean, if you want, but I mean, you're the guest.
It's that moment where I really want to seek solace in some human, but it can't be the escort. I don't know him that well. I don't even know if he likes being touched. And I am upset. And in this moment, I feel very alone. I'm looking around at the faces of the other people looking at this effigy. Is anybody else going through a moment, or is it just me?
No, no. Well, actually, they seem to be looking at you, but that's probably just because you burst into tears.
Okay. Where's the best place that we can see the fireworks here?
I'm not going to be able to see much in the village, but yeah, I mean, if we go out into the moors, it'll be dark out there, and you'll have to watch your step. But I mean, there's not going to be any lights to get in the way.
So
That
the
sounds
two of
better
you,
than here.
so the two of you venture out into the moors. Herbert, this is your character, Scott. Herbert, Herbert knows these moors quite well, so he can navigate them. And so you make your way across this dark moor, which is just illuminated in flashes from time to time as there's a burst of fireworks overhead. You're going up and up, making your way up to what is a ruined old mansion on the top of the hill. It's sort of a bit black. It's maybe charred in places. Scott, it was burnt out a long time ago. It's a long way there. And as you go, I think Esmeralda, you're going to talk about Bonita.
And she was 7, and And then we never found her. They searched the woods for days. They combed the river. We went to all the neighbors' houses. And I haven't seen her since.
And Herbert, he's listening, he's nodding along, and I mean, you get to the end of that, and he just shrugs and says, "Well, that's what children do. They go missing. I think we're here."
Do you have children?
No, no, I'm not. Wouldn't have them around here.
Well, you're stood in front of this, Bridgett. You can you're in front of this burnt out mansion. You can almost smell it, so that the sort of slight rain, the drizzle is still coming down, and so you can smell the burning smell coming off this mansion. And now, as you look back, there's a mist which has fallen over the moors. So, Herbert, you could find your way back, but Esmeralda, you're not sure you could.
Herbert, how long have you been escorting people like this? Like me?
A few years now.
Do you enjoy this work?
I don't do it because I enjoy it. I do it because it needs to be done.
Have you ever lost someone out here? To the mist, to the rain, to the fire?
Lost? No.
And can we just get chat to suggest someone that Herbert has lost? Not necessarily lost as in a company, but someone in his life he has lost.
Ouch.
Oh, yeah.
We're leaving that to chat. That's vicious.
I've had to switch the chat off, I'm afraid, so please let me know if there's anything good.
Oh no.
We've got you. We've got you covered.
Oh yeah, that's nice. So Scott, your daughter you lost a while ago, and in some sense maybe you sacrificed her. Let's not go down the ritual of ritual necessarily, but in some sense it was a sacrifice. You let her go, and then I think there's one of those howls closer this time, somewhere in the nest.
Don't worry about it.
What do you think it is?
Something old.
Does it want to hurt us?
I don't think it wants to.
But it's hurt others before.
We all do what's in our nature.
I wince. That struck a bell somewhere inside that I'm not really ready to reconcile.
So you never did tell me why you chose to come here.
She wanted to come here, Bonita.
Why?
She wanted to see the fireworks. She wanted to experience a chip shop.
Yeah.
Whatever that's called. She wanted to experience chips. She loved the history and the story surrounding this place. Our parents would never take her. I promised that I would, and then I didn't get the opportunity. So I'm experiencing it for her.
And when you say you're experiencing it for her, you want to experience all of it.
Yes.
Oh. Let's make ourselves comfortable and watch the fireworks.
So where do you guys watch the fireworks from? So are you standing outside the mansion? Are you going into the mansion?
I think Herbert's brought a little blanket with him. He's got a bag that he's got slung over his shoulder, and there's a blanket, and he just puts it down on the steps, on the front steps outside the mansion, for us to sit on.
Oh, I love the idea of the front steps. So yeah, so you two sit together on this blanket, and yeah, there are these sort of large steps going up to where there used to be a door, but instead, you can just see Esmeralda, a kind of corridor of darkness behind you, which was probably the hall.
I think I'm sitting here on these stone steps in the drizzle, looking at the sky, probably a little bit closer to Herbert than I should be, but warmth is warmth, comfort is comfort. I have this undercurrent of fear that I'm grappling with, but it's intertwined with relief, and I don't know why.
Relief. Yeah. Where is the relief coming from?
It's that smell, isn't it? The smell that you described from this castle. Why did you? It's an old castle. This fire looks like it happened weeks ago, days ago, years ago. Why is that smell so present? Why is that smell so fresh? Why is that smell so grounding?
When things burn, they never really go away entirely. There's always something left.
Like you're starting to remember this place, Esmeralda. Isn't this something Benita talked about? This house.
The house in the moor. It was a story, wasn't it? Or was it a song? Was that a song she used to sing?
Oh, there are lots of stories, lots of songs.
The house had a name, which chat's about to give me.
The house in the moors. There was a song. I don't remember it. Herbert, what is it about this castle that feels so familiar? Oh, great names coming out of chat.
Oh, I suppose sometimes things are familiar because you hear about them in songs and stories. Sometimes it's because you've dreamed about them, and maybe sometimes they're just in your blood.
I startled for a moment with the comment of just in your blood. What do you mean, in the blood?
Maybe there are family stories. Maybe there's just something deeper than that. Places call to us sometimes.
And then that howl comes, and this time, Esmeralda, it feels as though it's coming from the mansion, but it feels less like a howl and more a call, like something is calling to you.
I stand up, but it's not a startle. It's not a spring to your feet. It's just more of if you're sitting on stone steps with a friend and Ma is calling from the kitchen telling you that lunch is ready. It's one of those, I come to my feet, I turn and I look down that dark corridor. Are you coming?
Give me some things that are in the house, chat. Sorry, Scott, you go.
I was just going to say, Herbert's looking up at the sky and saying, the clouds are beginning to clear up now. You might get a good view of the moon soon.
And let's have that now, right? So at that moment, the clouds do part, and a shaft of moonlight comes down, and it lights the way into the mansion. And in this hallway, you can just see, there are statues. They seem to be broken, as though it's something that great strength has broken them, and maybe there's a piano as well. Again, that seems to have been smashed. And again, there's that howl, that call.
Does it appear that Herbert is hearing it, or is at least does it appear that Herbert is responding to any type of audio stimulus around him?
Oh yeah, he's even commented on the howl. I think he definitely every now and then when we hear that howl, he looks around, but then looks back at the moon.
Interesting.
Is he scared, Herbert, when he hears the howl or not?
Not at all.
I look up at the moon. I smile for a moment, but the moon isn't what's calling me. It's that howl that's coming from the house. Well, now it's more of a beckoning. It's amazing how quickly those things got confused. But that moon is really beautiful. I look down to Herbert. We should go inside. Is that the moon that burned the boy?
Not directly.
Will it take another child tonight?
Well, it'll take someone.
So are we walking into the hallway now, Bridgett?
Yeah, but I think it's one of those things that I don't actually move my right to left foot to walk up the stone stairs to breach the corridor of the house and the stairwells. I think it's just one of those moments like, well, it's going to take someone, and then she's standing in the hallway.
So you almost can't remember walking in, but then there you are, and it's as though your eyes have maybe they become accustomed to the dark or something, but you can see you can see the piano, which it looks that it was smashed with great force, as though was someone angry, was someone just bestial. There's broken windows still there, and the wind is whipping through them. And I think at the top of the stairs you can see a girl standing.
You know the question. Do I recognize this girl?
You're not close enough.
I turn around.
Chat. Chat.
That
Tell me,
scared
is
me.
this Benita?
Shit.
No, it's fine. Chat. Tell me, is this Benita? Yes or no? Or you can say some other things. That's absolutely fine. And so you walk gradually towards this figure, if you like to.
I am going to throw a recommendation in the chat really fast. And yeah, I have to get a closer look. But again, it's one of those things I don't remember my right hand coming onto the stairwell. I'm just halfway up the stairs already.
And whoever is standing there is is sort of, it still seems to be quite in darkness, but you feel it's Benita.
And Herbert just asks gently, he's not even looking in the direction of the girl, he's just looking around the mansion behind you, and just says, is that her then? Do you see her now?
And I look down and I say in fluent Spanish, yes. And I look back at this shadowy sensation that reminds me, that feels like Bonita. And I tell her, good evening, very politely. Etiquette is very important. I missed you. And then, ¿cómo está?
She looks at you and reaches out a hand. Do you take her hand?
I have to, don't I?
And I think it's that point you realise that she's warm. And she's almost completely charred. So as a shaft of moonlight comes over her, she's just completely burnt.
I shudder as I touch her. I look back down to Herbert almost for affirmation. Not necessarily confidence, but more like affirmation. Like, yes, this is exactly what's supposed to happen, is that beam of moonlight covers her. And I look to her and I look into what's left of her eyes. You did make it. You did make it here.
And why is it, do you think she's come to you tonight? What is it that you owe her?
Hey, this is good. I've got a suggestion in the chat for a color check from you, Bridget. So could you just give me a red, yellow, green?
Audible green.
Okay. Okay. Great.
Thank
great,
you,
great.
chat, for Carrie.
Yeah.
I think the question on the table is, say it to me again, Scott or Herbert.
What do you owe her?
Another one of those winces as I look down to Herbert. Nothing.
That's not true. We both know that. You wouldn't be here if that were true.
Everything.
That isn't good enough either. And she reaches out her hand because there was one specific thing, and I don't know whether it was an object or something you had to say to her, but you never did. Chat, if you want suggestions of what Esmeralda owes Benita, put them in the chat.
That's delicious to tee up to chat.
Chris, yes, we've all got that.
Looking down to Herbert just to buy chat some time as we're going at this. Whatever it is that I am due or owe to Bonita. I'm going to look down to Herbert. What happens if I don't give it to her?
And at that point, you will notice that you notice just a little flickering flame in the corner of the mansion.
If you don't give it to her, this never ends, does it?
Is that what the others said? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. We've come here because it's something you needed to do. We've come here because you have a debt to pay. If you don't pay it, then I'm not responsible for what happens.
And just because it's completely wrong, and we've got about 20 minutes of this left, let's do a flashback. So,
God!
let's just do, and we'll keep this really, really limited, right? But so let's have Esmeralda playing at home with Benita. Scott, would you just be Benita just for a moment?
Don't do that to me. I don't deserve that.
Is that genuine? Do you want me to do this instead?
No, I absolutely love it. It's just the cruelest thing you could do is make Scott put in this position. I love it. It's beautiful. Let's go.
Fantastic. And so you are playing at home. She is reading these books about sort of large English houses as she always did. And Scott, why don't you just start by saying you need to give it to me?
You need to give it to me.
No, I won't. Unless you give me something first.
Oh, but it's mine anyway.
No, it belonged to me originally. You're inheriting it as the baby sister.
And what do you want from me?
You can't see the chat, but in Esmeralda's hand is a locket which Esmeralda got from her mother.
That's the only picture we've got of Mum.
I know. Would you like to hold it?
Yeah.
And I'm going to extend out my hand to Bonita. The opposite hand. I'm holding that locket away, almost like baiting her. But I extend my opposite hand to her.
What do you want?
Just a little bit of your time. I start leading her back into the house.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid, okay? You won't stay there long this time.
That's what you said last time.
I know. But if you work hard, I'll let you out.
It's dark in there. I don't like the dark.
I know, but you have such a fiery imagination. You can illuminate any room with that imagination, can't you? And I'm already opening that door, that heavy wooden door with the cast iron handles. It's already tearing across the floor.
And perhaps you notice for the first time that Benita doesn't look quite as scared. going into the darkness this time as she has all the other times.
Bonita would see this, even though it's very brief. Esmeralda is disappointed. Maybe she needs more time, or maybe she needs something darker, or maybe I should put something in there with her. As I put my hand on your lower back and start guiding you in.
Not too long this time.
No, not too long at all. Start with the house, the castle on the stairs, on the moor, and the moon in the sky. And I push that door shut.
And there,
So,
in the
yeah.
darkness, Bonita, having learned her lesson from all the other times she's been shut here in the dark by her older sister, reaches under her dress and pulls out a box of matches.
It's amazing. And do you want to do a bit more there, Scott, or should we cut back? It works either way.
I'm happy to cut there.
Let's cut back. And so Bonita stands in front of you, Esmeralda, completely charred from head to foot. You can see her charred, cracking flesh in front of you. And she holds out her hand just like she did years ago.
You didn't look afraid of the dark that last time.
She shakes her head slowly, and you can see she's not scared now.
And you don't look scared now.
Holding out her hand.
I'm going to look down to Herbert one more time, almost as a guidance temperature check. Almost in a, what in this moment do you want from me?
Herbert's just nodding encouragingly, and then he looks up to the ruined roof, where the moon is now directly overhead.
And I think as a beam comes down, suddenly Bonita isn't waiting for you to have the power over you anymore, Esmeralda. She's just going to take it. And she does. She reaches forward, and something which is a bit like a claw or a bit like a hand grabs the locket from around your neck. It's going to take a little piece of flesh as well and pushes you back, and you will fall into one of those broken statues, which is now even more broken.
There's a moment as I fall where I think to myself, you deserve this. But there's also a moment when I fall that I think, the sounds of her screaming in that closet were musical. I crash into the base of whatever this statue is as stone crumbles around me. I can't feel something on my left side. There's warmth pooling out of my right side. But there is something musical about a child burning.
And while you're having this revelation now, Herbert's come up the stairs, and he just reaches into his bag and rummages around, and then passes Bonita a box of matches.
And she takes it and strikes one.
He nods encouragingly.
The mansion has leaves in it. Most of the curtains and so on have long since rotted, but it has leaves, and so, actually, near where Esmeralda is lying, throws a match, and the leaves begin to smoulder.
Sometimes the only way you can recognize the past, the only way you can deal with the past is by burning it.
Bonita gives one more howl, like the howl you heard in the mist. And just tell us what's happening to Esmeralda at the moment, who I think is both bleeding and the leaves are starting to burn around her.
Oh, I'm going to step out on meta and then I'll let Scott clean up after me. But I think it's one of those moments where my back is against that heavy wooden door, that I'm 13 years old, and I'm listening to the story of the castle with the stone stairs on the moor. I'm smelling smoke around me, but that happens when things catch fire. I'm smelling that, that acrid stench of flesh burning, but that's what happens when people burn. Bonita had such a fiery imagination. She could illuminate a room with her storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in that moment, that's where Esmeralda is, her back to the door with the musical accompaniment of screaming and the smell of charred flesh and smoke around her.
And so I think that the mansion, but let's imagine we're outside the mansion again now, and it begins to go up in flames, like it burned years ago, but now there's, there's leaves and accumulated rubbish so it can burn again. And one last view of Herbert.
Yeah, Herbert's just standing out there in the gardens, or what's left of the gardens, just watching the fire burn. And if we think of this like a film, the camera cuts down and he's just holding the hand of this charred child who's watching the fire with empty eye sockets.
We just have one last little firework display from chat. Give me some firework noises and sounds.
Whoo!
There's going to be a pause, and then there'll be all these firework things. This is what usually happens. Absolutely, and so, I think maybe Herbert and the burnt child are illuminated brightly and in sort of weird colours by explosions, and then the moon goes behind clouds, and the fireworks are finished, and everything on the moor goes dark. And I think we should leave it there.
Mm.
And that, friends of the Symphony, is where our show ends for tonight. Thank you to everyone who joined in live and fed us some of the most delicious ideas and suggestions in chat. To everyone who is watching the replay, I hope you're also enjoying the chat, but thank you for spending time with us. We sincerely appreciate it. If you'd like to hang out with the Symphony on Discord, there's a link in the chat, or you can go get all of our socials at symphonyentertainment.com. Before we empty out the auditorium, let's go around one more time and say goodnight to our symphonic cast. Scott Dorward, starting with you, give us your name, where to find you, and the things that you do.
Yes, thank you, Bridgett. Yeah, I'm Scott Dorward. If you want to listen to some of the podcast stuff that I do, actually, the best way to find out what's going on is go to blasphemoustomes.com, which is the website of the good friends of Jackson Elias. Or alternatively, listen to Ain't Slayed Nobody, How We Rolled, or Grizzly Peaks Radio.
Absolutely amazing. Scott, thank you so much for joining the Symphony for the first time.
Oh.
I don't have to tell you how brilliant you are because you already know that, but for my own satisfaction, you are stunning. Graham, tell us who you are, what you're working on, where we can find you, and all of your pluggables.
I'm Graham Walmsley. Oh God, what do I even do? I design games. I just want to say, thanks so much to Scott and Bridgett for playing tonight. I mean, they were absolutely amazing players. Before I say my own Patreon, I'm just going to remind you that Good Friends of Jackson Elias has a Patreon as well. So I've just just copied that on.
Thank you.
Yeah. You should also give money, if you don't mind, to my Patreon. If you want to encourage me in doing this shit and think I should do more of it, then give me money on my Patreon. If you think I should do less of it, I don't know what to tell you. Just tell me in the chat right now. Just stop. Please stop. I'm begging you to
just
stop.
Look at you disapprovingly.
Right.
Yeah. Just give me disapproving looks. But thank you so much for having me.
If you have the audacity to say something about Graham's storytelling, I will be happy to delete that shit from the chat, because I am a proud backer over at Graham's Patreon, and I can tell you right now, it's absolutely worth it. One, the content drops, and two, just to support somebody of that caliber. So we hope you have all had a wonderful night. We hope you've enjoyed the symphony, and we look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Thank you, and have a wonderful evening. Mwah. Bye, guys.
Bye.